It's a topic that's on my mind all the time, you know. When I say sometimes there's a thin line between spirituality and mental. You know, you can tip over to the other side when you take things too seriously, when, you know, you go through a moment of this is the truth and this, like ignorance, you know. And we all go through that. But yeah, I think about it a lot. But it's just like for us, for someone, it's good to know the different energies, you know, and different levels of consciousness, like Ellie Tom and I was talking about. So when you see someone's level of consciousness and you know they are in that psychosis state, you know how to talk to them, right? Maybe take them out of that somehow. But you can't take out anybody out of any state, but it's just like you being you around them, you know, can help some people come out. Because people complicate everything. We complicate everything, and then we create that drama and whatever up in our heads. You know, we want to achieve something, we want to become something. This is how it is, or I'll figure out this, or we soak up like information from books, from here, from there. It's just too much again. Yeah. So it's a very, very serious topic, really.
Because you even talked about being around your sister or being around your nieces, and being in situations where someone is clearly looking at you and seeing that you're clearly not engaging, you're not partaking, you're not indulging in the things that other people indulge in. And
Mm-hmm.
in their mind, they see they think that you're suffering, or they think that you're starving, or they think that there must be something that you're lacking, that you're not getting, or that you're not receiving, or that but then they ask you about it, and then you ask them, well, what do you see me not doing? Do you see me down here sleeping? Do you see me just lounging around, or do you see me bouncing around?
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
see me doing cartwheels and doing handstands and busting, doing all these things. What do you see me doing? Where am I getting all this energy?
Yeah.
And so,
I think that when they see me, I don't
mhm,
think they see me lacking.
right,
Yeah, they don't. That's different. It's like they see whole somehow, and they just don't know how.
right, right. They
You
can't
know,
put
that's,
two and two
yeah.
together.
They can't put it together, and then they would have comments about, "Oh my God, you should eat," and then at the same time, it stops them. It makes them think, "But she don't actually need it. She don't look like she's lacking." You know, like my sister was saying yesterday. She's like, she may be crazy, but she makes sense. You know, she told this guy, she's like, she may be crazy, but you know, you be around her long enough. Oh, she made me laugh, and that was at work yesterday. She just came by and she was just saying a bunch of things, but she was like, "You be long enough with her, she makes sense, you know."
She may be crazy, but
Yeah, yeah. So I think for her to be around me more, and then just watch me and observe me and not have any opinions, think, you know, let her sink, like things just sinks in more. Like, oh my God, she's not actually lacking anything. She's peaceful. You know, how is she not feeling this way? You know, I'm feeling that way. Everybody's complaining about something. I'm the one that's not complaining about anything. You know, I'm always like, "Ooh," there. And everybody's like, oh my God, they're complaining about their body parts like it was a car or something. But yeah, I think it's sinking
and
in.
to me, it seems like you'd rather be seen as crazy than contaminate yourself, or be in the general consensus of the populace. You'd rather be seen as crazy.
That is crazy. If I was taking part of everything, then I would be crazy. To me, that is
To
crazy.
you, that
Yeah,
is crazy.
yeah. Like if I was just like just participating in things and acts and stuff just because everybody else is doing it, then I am crazy.
Because if Nabiha, like, if like, think of a crowd
Hmm.
of people, right? A crowd of individuals, and they're running towards a cliff. Like, they're
Hmm.
running together. Everybody's running. Come on, let's go, let's go. All right, let's go. And they're running to a cliff.
Hmm.
And like, the cliff is a sheer drop. That's game over. then there's one person that's running in the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd is going this way. This person is going that way. You know, that one person, they're going to look at him crazy.
Yeah. If I was part
Because he's not.
of that, yeah, it's okay. I would be that crazy one. Really, I would be that crazy one because it makes no sense that the whole, like everybody going that way, there must be something wrong there. Like, whatever the crowd is going, that's what I see the problem is. I mean, that's the problem. And if I see somebody, one person just walking that way, that's what, you know, makes me curious. Like, oh, where is he going? You know, I will follow that than the crowd.
So you get curious when you see someone doing the opposite.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Like, how is the other part, the other side? No. If everybody's doing it, that's just like my interest is like, whatever. Like, I would not even look into it. Never. I don't know. I thought everybody was like that somehow, but it can be true. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in the crowd.
You know, I love what you were saying when you said whenever you do this,
Mm-hmm.
now all of a sudden you're Buddhist.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then whenever you do this, now you're a Buddhist.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you had to try and figure out, okay, how can I sit? How can I meditate? How can I do something to not make someone uncomfortable or to think that I've suddenly changed, you know?
Yeah, it's just the perception of this and that and how they know. Like, they are always associated with Buddhism. So for them to not have the questions, I rather want to do something else. Yeah.
Yeah. Several people, I had an argument on one of the reels that I posted just the other day where I was doing my hands like this, you know, the Prana Mudra, you know, and I was doing like that little thing, that little motion. These people, they drew up some image of some character, I don't know, and they were saying, oh, this is a demon, you know, I rebuke this is like, you know, sacrilegious, or this is blasphemous, and I can't follow this because whatever your hand posture, it looks like, well, one of the hand, yeah, they said that hand posture was something that they found on a picture of some being that was a dark being or something like that, and they said that I'm projecting this image. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know?
I wouldn't even
Like, I
respond.
don't even know what you're talking about. And they're like, no, do your research. You know, this is bad energy. This is bad. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You know?
Yeah.
So I can see what you're saying. I can resonate with you when you have certain postures or certain, you know, ways of being that are comfortable for you but are uncomfortable for others.
Yeah, it's this form of communication, right? So it's for them, it means that. And I know, like, if I know what this means for my family, it means completely different thing for me, but it means something else for them. I'm Buddhist. I'm out, you know, I'm not part of their religion anymore. I'm outsider. I'm like, yeah. So, you know, you have a box in the family and box in society, in the world. It's different boxes. So in this box, that's what they will see it as. So I just stay away from it. So whatever environment that you're in, it's good to be, you know, just respectful. It's just part of a respect, you know. Like, if you see that, if you go to a different country or something like that, and this means, like, you know, horror, don't do it.
Right.
Out of respect, right? So it's just like, you know, adjusting yourself to whatever environment that you're in. You have to become a chameleon. Find your different ways, you know.
Right. Like I'm sure this doesn't mean what it means everywhere.
I know.
You know, you shouldn't do this everywhere.
I
You
know.
know, there's probably some places that would get offended, you know, for some reason. But it's interesting too, because even language, in the beginning of your conversation with Elitam, he said something that I didn't even think about. But he said that the different language restructures the
Yeah,
face.
I believe that. You can
We
shift.
shapeshift. You were saying that. You were saying about shapeshifting.
I thought about that throughout my whole life. I don't know. For some reason, I used to always think like, okay, I can shapeshift. Depending on what country that you're in and the environment that you're in, you become that. You know,
Mm.
shape also, just like that. It's very strange, but it really is true. Like, I'm in the Somalian community right now, in the Ethiopian community, all of them, both of them. When I go in, it's just, I'm different because of
Mm.
I am my culture somehow. You know, I have so many different cultures, and then I created my own. Just like I have my own accent, you know, it doesn't belong anywhere. It's the same thing. So they just know, like, even if I'm wearing like everything that they're wearing, they can just point me out. Like, there's something with her. You know, it's like something, yeah. So I shaped myself because of my own ways.
Mm.
So it's different from any culture. You can't pinpoint and say like that's that culture, that's that language, or that's that dialect or whatever. I have my own.
Wow. So they say one of these Somalians is not like the other.
Yeah, I can go in the Ethiopian community. It's just they just see me. I can go in the Somali and they just see me. I'm like, what is it? I didn't understand in the beginning, but it's just because of, you know, whatever your environment shaped you, you know?
Mm.
Yeah.
So
It's different.
everything shapes us. We're shape shifting all the
We
time.
are. We really are. We shape shift with our environment. If you just look at like animals too, it's the same thing, you know? Like, you know, wolf or whatever, they get different fur, right? When it's like cold and when it's hot. It's like you shape shift all the time with your environment, your culture. You know, it's what how you think that shapes you, how you speak, the vocals that you use, all of that shapes your face. Yeah.
Mm. And it's almost like imperceptible. It's on a level that's so subtle, but it drastically changes over time.
Mm-hmm. It does. It doesn't
Right.
have to take that long. It can take like 2 years for you to change.
What was one of your most profound shape shifts? Like a period of time where you feel like you looked in the mirror one year and then maybe later on you looked in the mirror and it was like a different person.
Mm, I don't know if it's positive or negative, but yeah, I can say from 2019. Oh no, from 2019 to 2020, yeah, 21. I was like, oh my God, I'm a different person.
How?
Like I didn't even recognize myself.
What?
Even if you look at my pictures and see 2019 and 2021 is two different people.
What did you no longer recognize?
Mm, my face structures changed. hmm Literally, my face structures changed. Um, like what else? Yeah, my body movements, things that I could do with my body changed. Um, my way of breathing changed. Um, I don't know if you were in the call when I was sharing about um, like breathing through my skin. Like it was just different ways, you know. And and it's not like I can say like, oh, there was a detox that happened and this. My way of eating have always been the same, right? I've always just been whatever. But that change just happened through something else. It was a different detox. It was a shape shift. I felt like I died and then somebody else just came up. Yeah,
You were reborn?
something like that. But then I was going through those 444 days of meditations, right? So during that meditations, I was shifting physically and mentally and spiritually. I was changing. So it was very interesting to just see, like I can go on my Snapchat and I have all the videos. I always record something and I can see the change.
So you resurrected. It sounds like a resurrection. Like you
Hmm.
said, like you changed in that way, like you were reborn, like a rebirth. There was a new you.
Yeah, completely different. Like my whole system from the inside even worked differently. It wasn't working the same way. It was like I had an engine, fuel car, right? But it wasn't in use before. So it's like it started, you know, the engine just started working. And it's just something just, yeah, I don't know how to explain it. You start dancing with me. But you know what I mean? Like I started some engine, like my car, and now I'm the driver. So it was, yeah, it really changed. Like my whole, yeah, being changed. Like there are things that I couldn't do that I do when it comes to
So like,
my body
so
movement.
like your engine, what did you get a tune up? You got a tune,
No, it was off. It started. It's like I started the
the
car.
transmission, the suspension, you got a tune up?
You
You peeked,
say.
you peeked under the hood? You said, what's good?
I think I just woke up in the car and I'm like, oh my God, I'm the driver,
Hmm.
And then that's when I started the car. It was just
Okay.
different. I was completely, it's like when I say sometimes you think you are the car and then you figure out you're the driver, right? So it felt like the driver just came out and now I was shape shifting into the driver instead of the car.
Did were you surprised to see the change in yourself over the course of that 2 years? Like when you said you look completely different and you could see the sequence of change, like
Mhm.
were you surprised to see that?
Um, it happened gradually, so I didn't see it until I looked back. So I was surprised, but it was a mixture of everything, right? So it was like you said, you're cracking the egg, you're coming out really, like so. It was a lot of crack in it. It was darkness in it. It was like a lot of things in it, but eventually I just came out as a different person. So yeah. What was your question again? What was your question?
Were you surprised to see it? Like, do you feel like it was necessary
I
for your growth?
mean, I was surprised, surprised. Like every time and I was talking about it, it's all about work, everything takes work. So I was definitely working towards myself, finding myself, until I find I wasn't lost, but I was always trying to find myself, right? So in that work of finding myself, I shifted, I shape shifted, right? So I wasn't surprised in a way like, oh my God, why did this happen? It was like, oh, I did the work. So something has shifted. So yeah, it was a mixture of everything. The shift from within was something that I really needed, right? So no, not surprised, but surprised at the same time. I knew I earned it because I really did the work. Yeah.
So the shape shifting, that was something you earned. You earned that change.
Yeah. It was, and then I'm looking forward to shape shifting more. Really. It's like it's fun part of the journey.
Luis
Yeah.
asking, do you think it was because of the meditations?
Um, I think, the meditations, I still meditate, you know, um, but it was the consistency of my practices. Yeah, the determination of it, like, okay, I will do this in that hour, this time. And I was, you know, following something until it became just a habit, a routine. And then I was just walking, meditating. But it opened more of my own mind. I could dive in more. So yeah, all the questions comes from within, and then all the answers came from within. So it was definitely because I was sitting still with myself.
So now you don't have to follow it anymore.
No, not like, oh, I have to sit down and meditate. No, it just is automatically. I have the
Hmm.
insight clock.
She says consistency magic.
Mm-hmm. It's in the consistency for sure, because it's a habit, right? And we can always fall off habits. So just to not fall off, it's just like you have to have that consistency. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. It's easy to fall off.
Yeah. Someone once said, consistency is the key that opens all the locks. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
And when you say it's easy to fall off. Like we know how easy it is to fall off. What keeps you on when you know you could easily just fall off?
I mean, falling off is just a part of, it's just distractions, right? When you get distracted. But I think, like, once you get the hang of it, there's nothing to fall off. Once you understand, there's nothing to fall off. So it's just like when you're finding your balance, it's easy to fall off because you haven't figured out where the balance is, right? But once you find that, it's nothing to be worried about. You won't be falling off.
You spend a lot of time with Magic,
Yeah, my horse.
your horse,
Yeah,
Magic.
you're talking about horse, my friend horse.
So, but you've never ridden
No,
Magic? Have you
he's not
ridden
for that.
horse? Did you ride any horses when you were younger?
I did.
Was there like there was always? I'm sure that there was a balance that you had to find when you were riding horses.
Yeah.
But you were never afraid of falling off?
Well, once you find the balance, no, somehow. But it's still, even if you fall off, it's not the same as when you don't have a balance. So when you have a balance, you're more sure, right? So if you fall off, you fall okay. But if you don't have balance and you fall off, you may break. Does that make sense? It's like when you're a beginner and fall, or when you're like an expert and fall, it's different.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying because whenever I'm roller skating, I unconsciously understand now because I've fallen like hundreds and hundreds of times. I can't tell you how many times I've fallen. But I realized after I fell so many times at the roller rink, finally I lost my fear of falling because I had fallen so many times. So I wasn't afraid of it anymore. And then after I lost that fear of falling, I was free. It was like a freedom that came without the fear of falling. It's like if I fall, I fall. It's okay. Whenever I was whenever I was a beginner skater and I would fall, I would try to lessen the fall, or I would try to prevent the fall, or I would try to avoid the fall. So I would be so much more off balance because I was trying to fight the fall. And when I was actually falling, in the midst of my body falling, I might try to block the fall, and it would even make the fall worse.
Yes.
Because I'm trying to like prevent it. I'm trying to just reduce the damage. It would be even worse. I could like break my wrists. I could do so much things could happen to my body only because I don't allow myself to just fall.
Yeah. See, it's the same thing with this journey. Everybody, when you're like, oh my God, I made a mistake, or oh my God, I made this or that, it's that you preventing that fall, and you make it worse when you fall. It's gonna hurt. But if you just ride the wave and you're like, okay, I can fall, and if I fall, it's okay, chances are that you won't fall. But when you fell, you just okay with it, it's not gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the same thing with the journey, That's why I say, like, why do people have like all this regrets and feeling like, oh my God, I did this wrong, this wrong, this wrong. It's just like it's creating that, fear, basically. Yeah. But just flow with it. Flow.
It creates tension, a lot of tension. And when we have that tension in the midst of the fall and we don't just relax into the fall, we can really hurt ourselves because we're tense. We're tense. It's kind of like if you've ever seen people, and it's one of the cruel ironies where, a person that is drunk, they're like inebriated. They walk out of a bar drunk. They're in the middle of the street, and then they're not looking both ways before they cross, and then a car comes and bumps them, right? They bounce off of the car, and because their body is not rigid, because they're just loose, loosey goosey off of the alcohol, bounce off of the curb, and then they get back up and they just walk away, like
I know.
They didn't even feel it,
That's why drunk drivers never die.
Right? But then versus the person who, you know, is not loose, who is rigid, who is tense, who is stiff, they get hit and
Control.
all they're in the hospital, you know,
Uh,
all kinds of stuff happen. So it's, I mean, I always found that one of the cruel ironies of life, but there's a lesson in there.
yeah. That's because of they're not, you know, they don't create that resistance.
Right,
When
right, right.
when you think you control something, right? So the person that is not drunk, they
Mm-hmm.
think they have control,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that control creates some kind of resistance. And when the hit is coming, like they already, you know, they already create that fear, and they already, you know, breaking
Mm-hmm.
up, or whatever that's happening within them, you know, it's already crushed before even the hit happened, right? Because they know it's going to happen. While the drunk person is like, oh yeah, they're in la la land,
Mm-hmm.
and the hit happens, and they just flow with it. You know, they roll with the whole hit and with the whole crash.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this. I think it's the control and that creates that resistance. When we think we have control over something, when we think that, you know, things have to be done in a certain way, this way, that way, or when we fear things, you know, that's what creates resistance.
When did you finally like feel that you just completely let go of that control, let go of creating resistance? Or do you feel that's something that you're continuously learning, like to let go more and more as time goes on?
Um, it's both. You know, I did let go completely in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I just let go, right? And with the time that I'm saying like our shape shifted, it was just like accepting that everything is really everything just is, right? I don't have any of that control, you know. I need to learn how to just be in the present moment. So the more I was in the present moment, the more acceptance, you know. And it's just it's a continuous learning.
Mm-hmm.
Like the mind knows how to control. The mind wants achievement. The mind wants to go somewhere all the time, you know. So it's easy to get lost in that. We're not going anywhere, you know. And we have to let go of expectations of everything. That's what creates the resistance. That's what creates that, you know, drama, like the depression and people feeling suffering. Is that resistance that they create, expectations. Oh, I want to become this and this. So, and after that, what's going to happen? Why can't you just live right now? You know? Why do we always have to become something? Why do we always have to be something? Why do we always have to achieve something, right? Because we think we control everything. We're not in control, just like your breath. You're not in control of it. It's just happening. Well, some of those things are real, you know? It's just that a lot of things are happening. So you need to learn how to flow with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. It's a learning, you know, and expectations is a big one.
Yeah. David asked, how do you deal with fear? That's a big one. Fear is a gravity pull to me.
Gravity pull?
Yeah, it's a gravity pull. Like it pulls you.
It
Yeah.
keeps you grounded?
Mm-hmm. Like let's say like when you're swimming or in the ocean, the time that you see a shark or something like that, you feel that fear, you sink. You can't float anymore. You automatically just sink when you fear. So fear holds you down.
Like a rock.
Yeah. It's the first ingredients to this reality.
The,
To keep you here. Yeah. This this much of fear. Boom in here.
this reality has ingredients. It's a recipe of reality, right?
Yeah.
Of reality. So somebody sprinkled in fear over here, the little, you know.
Yeah. More fear. It's fear in everything. Just like salt and sugar is in everything. Really. A little bit of fear here. Just like sugar and salt. If it's no fear in it, they don't want it. And just like, you know, when there's no salt in the food or sugar, nobody wants to eat it, right? No fear. Yeah, really. Yeah, fear is in everything. If you didn't have fear, nobody would be here. Really. If you didn't tell them, like, you know, if you just told everybody, yeah, you know, do whatever you want, you're going to paradise. How would this reality look like? It would look so different. But it's like, you know what? If you don't do this, there's a hell. Hell looks like this. You know? Yeah. There's fear in everything.
The other day you were talking about paradise with Sabrina.
Oh yeah. She called the parasites for paradise. Yeah.
What if the paradise are wanting the talkies, the oh,
I know.
like a paradise? Like we shooting a paradise? They, she said,
I know. Now she asked me everything. Is it parasites in this? Can do paradise like this? I'm like, what? So everything she touched right now, she asked me if the parasite likes it.
hmm.
Yeah, I told her parasites do not like healthy food. Like,
You told it?
yeah, they don't like healthy food. And, she started eating orange, whatever. She's like, this is healthy. They don't like it, right? Yeah. And that way she can change, it would change her taste buds because I really think it's just, people's taste buds are destroyed, It's just like when people take drugs and they take too much drugs. It takes a while to get back to normal where they can
There's,
taste more things.
so there's a war on paradise.
Hmm. War on paradise. Yeah. You got to teach them somehow.
You you know, when it comes to the taste
Hmm.
buds and desensitization and, enjoying things that feel of a lower vibration, you could never have told me that my taste buds would be the way they are right now. The things that I'm feeling and flavorful back, I mean, years ago, that was not my cup of tea, as you like to say. You know,
Hmm.
it was not, that was not my forte. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
it was a period of adjustment and readjustment and adjustment and readjustment and adjustment. Like my tongue really had to recalibrate. Kind of like how you said you shape shifted, your body went through a resurrection. I felt the same way, you know,
Hmm. Yeah.
because that I look back at the stuff that I used to eat. I'm like, how, you know?
Yeah. You used to eat hot sauce. Like, I don't, in my house, I never had salt and sugar.
Never.
It's like here, like, it's not one of the ingredients that I buy. It was never like the thing that I liked, right? Because the oven is not even for me. It's not like I like to be in the kitchen, but I do things that it doesn't require those things. I cut up fruits and veggies and different things. But my sister right now, when she's cooking, I can be downstairs and she's cooking for the kids. I can smell it from here and it just goes right in. I think I'm gonna pass out. Like it could be onions that she's chopping and then she would have like some jalapenos or something like that. And it would just be so overwhelming. And I wonder like, oh my God, how does that go inside the child? That burning hot, whatever, spices, whatever, you know?
So you
Yeah.
raised on like sugar and spice and everything nice. You never had that?
Like it wasn't my go-to, It wasn't my go-to. Like even if I go to a restaurant, whatever, I used to just entertain whatever, but I never, you can never say I liked something. Yeah, it's in my family because I have a nephew that's the same, and I have a brother that's the same. We were just not made for that, I think. We were just
Mm.
never an interest.
Because, some people have staples, some people have, routines and regimens, and some people have
Hmm.
rituals. Like a glass of wine. Like somebody might say, oh, the wine has to go with this meal. Like you have to eat this meal with this particular wine. Not that wine, no, this particular wine has to go with this meal, right?
Hmm.
You even heard some people say, uh, no meal is complete without something sweet.
You see, the people, yeah, you have to be very,
You ever
I
heard that?
don't know. Yeah, I can imagine things like that.
Right?
Yeah.
Like they have to have like dessert has
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah. For me, when it comes to the wine helped me eat, but
Really?
I would never, you know, say like this meal goes with this wine or whatever because I didn't care about the meal. I didn't care about the meal, but I would think like, okay, this glass goes with this. I wouldn't drink red wine glass with white wine in it. I would not touch it. It would be like no no for me. Yeah. It has to be like a white wine glass for me to drink white wine and red wine glass for me to drink red wine.
And how do you feel like it helped you eat?
It helped me disconnect somehow. Yeah. Like, when you get tipsy, some people do some other stuff. For me, it was like, okay, this food, at least I can eat it. It wasn't any resistance. It wasn't like, what am I doing right now? Like, I get bored. Just like having one bite. It's like, oh my God, you give me a smoothie. Like, after a few sips, I feel like, oh my God, it's a job. So the wine would make me forget it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
'Cause some people smoke to eat, like they call it getting the munchies.
Hmm.
When they smoke, they get hungry and they eat
Hmm.
more. So it's some people get to the point where they can't eat until they smoke. They have to smoke to eat. Like
Oh.
it's a feeling like a disconnect, like it's a ritual. Like they do this before that.
Oh.
You know, A plus B equals C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't drink wine every day though, so I couldn't do that. Maybe people do smoke every day.
But you're saying you did it to disconnect. You didn't do it so that you could eat. You did it so you could get through it.
Yeah. It was like I always had to find a way to eat, like because everybody else is eating. And for example, I can be in my house, I would never think like, oh my God, I need to go to the store, I need to grab something, prepare it, put it in the stove, blah, 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 and eat it. No. All of that is very foreign to me. Unless I'm doing for somebody, if I'm doing for my kids, that's like a job. But if it was just me and me just thinking about, oh, it's something that I like, let me just prepare that for myself, I don't think I've ever done that. Even when I'm picking fruits and stuff and trying to do my juices, it's not like I fantasize about the juice and think about the juice. And I'm like, okay, there's a melon there, let me grab this. Okay, we make it. Sometimes it can just be there forever and then we throw it away. It's like I get nourished by just getting them sometimes. I
Mm.
don't
Just
even have to drink
just
it. Yeah.
them is nourishing for you.
Yeah. And sometimes I can just make it and then I don't know if I like to myself. I can make it and I can put it in a refrigerator and then walk around and I think I've had it. Like I make tea like every day, but I will pour the tea and I would just walk around with it and I just leave it. Now my sister complains about it, but when I live by myself, I didn't know. But now my sister complains about it. She's like, "Why do you make tea? You don't drink it." So I think
Mm.
I trick myself somehow. It's just like, yeah, I don't think, yeah, I don't know. I don't have any desire for it.
Maybe it's like art. Like that's your artistry. That's
Yeah, I
your
think so, maybe.
you know. You make something, you make a smoothie, you make a juice,
Hmm.
whatever. You love it, you smell it, you see it, you like you like the look of it. You put it in your refrigerator,
Hmm.
gaze at it, you see it, you close the fridge, say, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, really. I really do. I call my cousin all the time and I'm like, and she always tells me like, don't tell me the same juice is in there. It's always there. Yeah.
Are you like witnessing your work? Like this is my work of art. Look at what I
I
made.
think I just get full. I'm done already when I interacted with the fruits. You know, it's just I'm done. It's over.
It's done.
Yeah, it's like the part where pick it up, drink it. It's just like there's no fun in that. And
Yeah.
I don't really mean like I don't like the taste or anything like that. It's just that I'm full by the time I'm done. it's like it's meaningless to grab the glass and just like drink a lot of it and then just get full and now you're like tired. Why? Does that make sense? Like why? I have like this morning I poured one orange juice, right? A glass of orange juice. It's upstairs. I could just, sip on it. I would sip on that all day if I want to because it's so potent, It's like I take a sip and then I walk around because I have no business in filling my belly.
Okay. So it's the fullness that that takes away from the fulfillment. You're already full. By the time you make it, you're like you can take it in through your eyes. You can eat through your eyes. You can drink through your eyes. You're already full.
Exactly. And it's like it's the same thing with when I feel tired, I don't feel like go to sleep. I feel like go and run. It's completely opposite for a lot of people. When they feel tired, oh my God, I feel tired. I feel this. They feel like okay, lay down. For me, it doesn't make sense to feel tired and then lay down. It's like you're getting more tired. So I have to like go and create energy, and then after I create energy, I can sit and rest.
Okay. Generate energy. You're an energy generator. Okay.
Yeah.
Even though you're a reflector, you still
Yeah, I'm reflecting the
you're
generators.
reflecting the generator. Well, I'm a generator, so you reflect.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, we got the taste, we got touch, we got smell, we got sight, and we got sound, right? So out of taste, touch, smell, sight, and sound, if you could be without one of these senses, like you had to live the rest of your life without one of these senses, which one would it be?
So you said smell and taste. I feel like they are the same.
The same?
Yeah, smell. If you lose your smell, you don't have no taste, right?
Okay.
So, I like to keep like my sight. I will definitely keep that.
You would keep that.
Yeah, I will keep my sight.
Okay.
I'm thinking like, what else was it? Because I could let go of the smell or taste. I can keep the smell and let go of the taste.
Tell me why.
If that's even possible. Because I don't care for tasting, really, no. But when it comes to smelling, I would appreciate that, even though it bothers me a lot, Like I smell everything, and there are certain things that you really like. I always say like smell could kill me. Certain smell could kill me, because it messes up my consciousness. It's like it messes up my whole focus. Like the other day, yesterday actually, I thought I was going to pass out. One of my managers at this new job now, he smoked. And I think he smoked maybe like before I was even born. So so the smell of that old smoke was just like overwhelming. So my whole focus just went away. I couldn't focus. My whole motivation, everything just went away. And I'm like, oh my God, what should I do? Should I get up? Should I sit? Should I get up? Should I sit? I didn't know what to do. I was so frustrated. So yeah.
But
So the smell is good to have, but yeah.
so even through that frustration, you're still thankful for that sensation.
Yes. So so I don't have to be yeah.
Like you would rather smell something horrible than smell nothing at all.
I mean, yeah. It's better.
But when it comes to taste, you can live without it.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking like, since the smell may bother me, so much, if I can't smell myself, I'll be bothering others. So I will keep the smell to be able to smell myself so I can smell nice for others. Does that make sense?
How thoughtful. Very thoughtful of you.
Yeah. The taste, I'm not sharing with anybody. It's just me.
You're not self-conscious. You're like, okay, I'll keep the smell so I can smell myself, and so I can be great smelling for someone else.
Yes, exactly. Because I don't want to bother somebody else the way I got bothered by that smoke smell, right? So yeah. But when it comes to the taste, it's just my own, and I could care less. If it disappeared, okay. I was forcing everything anyway.
Wow, they say do unto others. Do unto others. Y'all see this? We got a modern day saint right here. This is a saint right here. She's saving people from smells.
What did I say?
One smell, I'm saving the world. Look at this. Yo.
Which one would you be without?
You know, for the longest time, I couldn't smell. I couldn't smell. Like that sense for me for many years was blocked. And
like completely?
like, say again?
You say completely? You couldn't smell completely, or like it was
I
weak?
had to right like if there was food in the kitchen, I had to be like right there. Like
Really?
like that's good, you know? But body was so blocked,
Wow.
thumped up with all the stuff that I was eating that I smell. Because when I did my first fast, Nabiha, the first liquid fast, and I was going liquid for that month, day after day, my olfactory senses started to open up. My sense of smell opened up. Like it was like I felt like it was amazing.
Wow.
Wolverine from X-Men. I felt like an animal. Like I was smelling things like down the street.
Wow.
I could walk in the grocery store and just walk up and down the aisles, smelling everything. This was when I was fasting in the first time in California. It became such a euphoric experience, and it showed me like all those years of just eating all that stuff. It showed me how plugged up I was.
Wow.
I had known that I could smell. I had abandoned that sense. I was like,
So you wow. So you lost your smell because of you were clogged up?
I'm pretty sure, because the moment fasting, I could smell, and it was like a whole new experience. It was a new experience for me, like a baby learning how to walk. That's what it felt like. It was like, I felt like I was a kid again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because I remember, my cousin, I told her to go on a water fast for the first time, and she did 11 days on water, and her whole taste bud changed. She couldn't do sugar anymore. She's like, oh my God, did I used to drink this sugar? It's like she was overwhelmed every time she tasted something and I told her, like, your taste bud are newborn now. It just renews. So, wow. So your whole, like, that chili sauce and everything that you were eating just clogged you up.
Not just chili sauce. Oh God. Like we could be here all day if I told you all the stuff that I had no idea,
Yeah, but you couldn't smell. That's why you were eating too. You couldn't even smell it if you had to come so close. To me, I've always been like, you put something on my plate, I will tear it apart all the way, like like I'm looking for something in there. I will pick it. And I didn't actually know. I never used to go to dates and stuff like that. So, oh my God. I remember the first time that I went to date. My food, I was just. Oh my God. And then, yeah, people pointed out, like, why do you have the fork and the knife and why are you cutting everything as well? Yeah, I had to, yeah. Even like if I had corn like in my on my plate, I would take one at a time. One corn on my fork. Oh my God. Yeah, so you can never trick me into eating anything.
One kernel of corn, you take one
Yes, on my fork. Bing. No, not even that, but that is my way. Oh my goodness. You give me a pizza, I would take everything off.
No toppings. She took it. Now it's ready.
and then and then the bread even. No. Then it looks like I ate. But in my mind I haven't. I think I used to always pretend. I don't know. But one thing I know, you can never trick me into eating anything. I don't know about drinking, but yeah, you can never trick me into eating anything. I would just look at it, I would analyze it. It would look like things, you know? It would look like different creatures, whatever. Oh my God, yeah. Yes. I think everybody should analyze it like that, really. Have you seen when you find like hair on your food? How did you find hair?
I remember that. Yeah, I remember times. Yeah, like where did that?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
something stops you, right? Like look at it. So
Yeah, we
yeah.
right. That's when people stop. Like, oh, there's a hair follicle is in here. How did that get here? Right,
Yeah, but even like recognizing that hair in there,
right.
because
We,
we
we don't.
never look at it
The
normally.
food doesn't bother us, but the hair follicle bothers us, right? We're like, somebody needs to shut this place down, you know?
Yeah, yeah, human mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So you were just imagining, like we imagine like a child. We play make believe all the
Hmm.
time. Yeah.
I think that's what I do. You know, now living with people right now and them pointing out things. The first time the Bretonarian, concept was introduced to me was also just because of someone that was observing me.
Mm.
Right? I didn't know, but they were just observing me, and they were like, "Oh, this man, Elitom, he don't eat. Oh, there are people eat so who don't eat." I'm like, "Why are you telling me stuff like that? Leave me alone." And then, I always used to, every time I had to touch some food, I used to say like, "Oh my God, why do we have to do this?"
Mm.
That was always my thought. Why do we have to do this? So it's kind of like a burden,
Wow.
because it's kind of like a work. It's like I had to get out of my way and then find time for that.
Wow. That was like the cross you had to bear. They call it bearing the cross. That was the burden. You felt like eating food was a
It
burden.
was. It was just like time consuming. It's like I told you before, I can be chewing on something and then the excitement of whatever, even if I had a little excitement for this thing, that just expires while I'm like chewing. I'm like, oh my God. Now how are you gonna swallow something that you have no desire
Mm.
for?
Mm.
It doesn't go down. It's like, should I spit it out? What should I do? So next spoon, you can never take that. It's like, oof, stay away from me. And unless that desire comes back, it's just it's a gamble.
Wow. Unless the desire comes
Hmm.
back.
It's just a mind. If your mind, if you're not, you can't put anything in front of someone and then they, like, let's say something that's not edible. You don't have any desire to eat it, right? So you can't put it into your mouth. It doesn't click. You can't just take, this book and just like chew on it, for example, because it's not
Mm.
edible. So the food becomes something like that. It's just like there's no desire for it. It's like, why? There's a big why. There's nothing inside of me that says like, oh my God, this is delicious, or you make me feel this way, or it will make me feel that way, or whatever, whatever. There's no signals like that in there.
Mm.
So in order for me to just pick up something and just put it in my mouth with all of those signals, it doesn't make sense. And then I have to manually do it. That means like I have to force it,
Mm.
right? That's when it becomes a job. So then I think that's why maybe I created this like subconscious of just, okay, I think I'm eating, you know? That's why I pick everything, and then the whole plate looks like somebody ate something. And I always used to say like, oh my God, it looks like my plate is just getting full. It never goes away, it never goes away. uh, but I think I just created that. But with the drinks, it works because I can just sip on it all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't mind sipping that. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, if you just take a sip, you can just imagine like you have had something. But really, do you really need a gallon of juice where you can, or is it enough with just few sips? I think it is enough with few sips. It's just in the mind. If your mind thinks that, oh, I have to be full, that's when I get nourished from this? Or do you really just need to get in touch with the fruit only because of your body is made of, like Ellison was saying today, just don't ignore it and think like, oh my God, I don't need anything. And then you just collapse, right? It's an acceptance of knowing like you don't actually need anything. It's not you just commanding and saying, I don't need anything, and then forcing your body and not listening to your body. You gradually change, like you shape shifting, your body changes. And you will know like, okay, I don't need really this juice. I don't need this. I don't need that. But you can't force your way to it. It needs a work of acceptance. Right. So to me, it's like, I know I don't need it. It's just there. So me tricking myself, I made my body think like, okay, we have had it.
Right.
But we haven't actually.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because I didn't force my way to the other way, to the point that I got where I was dumping and putting condiments on everything before I could even eat it. It tasted bland without everything on it. I didn't force myself to that way of being. That was a gradual process. I might not have been consciously aware of that process, but that shape shifting was always taking place.
Yeah, and it's a job. It's a whole work too, to get to that point of eating a lot of hot sauce. Right now, if I wanted to learn how to eat hot sauce and fried food and everything, I can't just jump into it. I had to start with a little salt, and then I had to get used to that, and then it gets stronger, right?
Same as cocaine,
Yeah.
Like, how do people do lines of cocaine every day?
Yeah.
Line, like, like that if they did as many as they do, they could just die, overdose.
Yeah.
They gradually, little by little, the body adjusts. Now they're doing as much in a day as the average person on the street would instantly die.
That's what they're doing it gradually. Yeah. Yeah. That's what they call functioning addicts. Yeah. Functioning addicts. But it's just like we're all functioning addicts when it comes to food. Like we got used to this, drug. So it's not killing us immediately. Right. But if you go on just McDonald's like for months and months and months, you will see the change and you will die quicker for sure. But it's like we take a little bit of McDonald's here and then we eat something else here and we take a little break from here. So slowly, that's why our life expectancy is 100. It's easy to predict that depending on what we eat, right? If you just look at what we eat and what we consume through our mind and our ears and eyes and everything, we can predict 60 years, 70 years, 100, and depending how much you consume, So, yeah, it is our environment. That's facing us, yeah.
Wow, blessings, Nabiha. Thank you for this.
Thank you.
Thank
you, and thank you, Louisa. I saw something in the chat, but yeah, much love.
Thank you for these realizations. It's always timely.
You too, too. Thank you for the conversation. All right.